Hey everyone, welcome to Eyes Closed Home Edition with Lizzy Farrall. I thought we get started with some quick answers, some random questions. Pick one, sweet or savory.
Savory.
What's your middle name?
Claire.
I like it. Can you do a cartwheel?
No, I'm not even going to attempt.
Join the club. What's your zodiac sign?
Oh, Gemini. I'm a two-faced, but I won't carry on the next sentence. That's what everyone says. Everyone's like, oh, Gemini, you're two-faced. You have two personalities. We've got a bad rep, us Geminis, apparently.
Do you? I didn't know that. Moving on, what's your favorite meal of the day?
I do like a brunch. I love a brunch, so like a breakfast slash lunch. Like, I love like a bagel with like cream cheese and like an iced coffee. That's like my thing.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any tattoos?
I do.
That's it. That's all I get.
I've got quite a few. I've got like ones on my legs. I've got a big magpie on my arm. I've got Jimmy World lyrics on my ribs.
That is commitment right there. What song?
Yeah. Oh no. Just think of the most generic Jimmy World song that probably anybody would know. And the chorus of that song is on my ribs. No, I always feel it's the one that if people are like, oh, who's Jimmy World? Then you sing it, they're like, oh, yeah, I know who Jimmy World is.
In the middle?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. There you go. That was easy. The last one before I dive into some album questions. What's the best Lord of the Rings character?
I love Sam. I'm Team Sam.
100%.
And I'm also an Aragorn.
Big time. Big time.
Sexy as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm meant to swear.
Dude, he like set the bar for every other character that's like mysterious and kind of wild. And yeah. So we've got some of the most important things covered. Let's dive into your album, Bruise. You released it a few weeks ago. Probably under a little bit of kind of, different circumstances. Can you describe to me like what happened directly before and directly after releasing it in light of this whole situation?
So I try not to look at it so negatively, even though I feel like I've honestly had the worst luck with trying to put this album out. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. So obviously last year I was meant to tour the States and my visas got denied, so I didn't get to go over. 2 weeks into the tour, they got denied. So obviously we put out an EP with no tour, but then I managed to jump on a tour with Can't Swim, which was brilliant. And then we were meant to get a certain tour in November where we were like, okay, that'll be where we're going to put the album out, and then I didn't get the tour in the end. And then we were like, okay, let's hold fire. And then the Set It Off boys kindly wanted me on their UK tour again, and we were like, yes, okay, album time, sick, let's go. Seemed incredible. The whole tour was like selling out. I was gonna be playing the biggest shows I've ever played, 1,000 cap rooms plus, a lot of them that had sold out. And then the coronavirus appeared, and it was like, no, that's not happening now. I mean, the thing is, though, I can't be mad at it because it's happening to everyone. But also, I feel like a lot more people online have been wanting to support more than they would have, I think, for any artist. So, and then the album dropped, and it's been really good. The response has been way more positive than I thought. And I don't mean that to be like negative on myself, just because I feel it's quite a weird album when you look at the genre of it. It's quite weird. And I was worried people weren't going to get why every song was like very different. But everyone's got it. All the reviews have been amazing. The support has been incredible. People have been dyeing their hair purple, which I ended up doing last night.
I saw, yeah.
Like, kids were dyeing their hair purple. I was like, wow, I see it. So I felt like I had to join in and done the worst.
Of course, you can't be like the leader of the group, and you know.
Exactly. So no, there's a lot of negative around the album, but also there's a huge positive, and it's out, and I've waited. It's essentially been ready, the album, over a year now, and I've been writing it for 2 years. So for me, I'm just like, thank God it's out. Thank God. So
yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I mean that's a very mature way of seeing it. Like I'm sure if that happened to me, I'd feel really, the whole world is against me and this is all a plot and blah blah. But yeah, you're so right.
I think I've gone through all of that when my visas got denied. Like I was like, and I went for a lot. Like I got super depressed, so depressed, and I went into full on rut of going, you know, because it's like, as an up and coming artist, being knocked back that hard and also losing the label, a lot of money. Like you don't see that, obviously you get it, like you don't see that money again. It was huge set. But then, you know, everyone has to go through troubles in life, and that was just sadly a huge one that I had to face. But hopefully I'll get to America.
So I listened to Bruise like 3 times in a row, legit. The whole record, just, you know, it's a bop. What can I say? Really, the first thing that comes to your mind, what's the song that you're proudest of?
It's so hard for me because they're all so personal. Barbados, that song will always be one that will stand out to me, just because it pushed me to go into the direction I wanted to go in with this album. And then also Knocked for Six and Gaslighting are probably lyrically my 2 proudest. And then a funny achievement for myself, I've no said to give me one, I'm giving you all of them now.
Give me all of them.
The one that I think for me myself, which really pushed me out my comfort zone, was Night Rider. Because as someone who tends to only write lyrics which are quite, you know, quite sad and quite emotional, and they've always sort of been like, those songs have always sort of been my coping mechanism when I've gone through hard times. Whereas Night Rider, I was like, I want to write something that's a bop, like just a straight up cheesy duet, and that's what Night Rider was. And Night Rider is about a fantasy I've always wanted to have. That song definitely took big inspiration from the band The Midnight, and like early like Tears for Fears and stuff like that.
Did you have Bradley in mind when writing it?
I wrote it as a duet, so the second verse was always going to be somebody else's, which I'd written the lyrics for. But it was kind of, when we were in the studio, there was a few that had sort of like, people were suggesting, what about this person, what about this person, what about someone else who's also on Pure Noise, you know. And at that time, Emma Rosa had not long dropped their latest album. I was listening to it and I was like, I like Bradley's voice a lot. And I just, in my head, I was like, actually, I want Brad. Like, Bradley would be sick on this. And also, like Emma Rosa themselves have done quite a similar thing where they've completely changed their genres every album. And this is their new sort of 80s style, like themed whatever. And I was like, it's similar, I think it would fit. And then luckily my manager is good friends with him, so it just was like the missing piece in my puzzle.
Fabulous. See, it was meant to be. It was kind of there. I talked to Corey Wells in January, was it?
It's Corey so much.
Can you imagine working with him again, but on one of your songs?
Corey's voice is so unique, and he has so much power, but also he's got a beautiful like head voice. He sings so like softly and it's gorgeous. I don't know, I think it'd also depend on if he'd want to like go into the kind of style that I do. So I definitely, if I wrote something and it screamed for Corey, I'd be like, yeah, let's get Corey on it 100%.
Okay.
And I love that song that me and him did.
Yeah. Let's talk about another song, which I found very relatable, Balloon. This idea of fun that we're being sold, especially like younger kids and stuff. Can you talk me through your thought process of maybe like coming to that realization?
It was weird. I think I came later into that kind of party scene than a lot of friends did. At college there was a lot of it, but I wasn't really involved. Didn't really get invited to the parties. Wasn't cool enough. I don't know. I just wasn't. I was always a bit of an outsider. I had a boyfriend quite young. I was with someone for like 16 until I was like 17, when I guess a lot of kids, that was when they'd go out and do that. So once I came out of that and I hit 18, 19, I still wasn't really that involved in party scenes. And then I hit like 20 and I finally was like, I need to like get out more. Like I need to make friends. So there was I remember one New Year's Eve party. It was essentially what that song is based around. I was sat there and there was a lot of like drugs going on and a lot of drinking and a lot of people just getting off of each other. And there was someone there that I did sort of like, but then I saw that he was really into this kind of stuff and it kind of really like put me off it. And it was like this proper typical teen movie, like he was flirting with some girl and I was like, oh great, wonderful. Like I'm being surrounded in the worst atmosphere ever just to like, because I like this guy and he's interested in someone else because she's doing drugs with him. As like cliche as it all is. And I was like, why am I forcing myself into this just because I feel that this is gonna help me to make friends? And I don't know, it just did the complete opposite. It made me uncomfortable. I was never that into getting really drunk. I was always scared of getting too drunk and someone like, you know, taking advantage, or I don't like not being in control of my head. The only times I've ever got really drunk is when I've been with really close friends that I know we would look after each other if anything happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, that whole song is about being a bit of an introvert really and pushing yourself to not be, and it just not feeling right, and nothing about it is enjoyable as much as everyone likes to say it is. And also the next day, the hangover, if you've got mental health issues, like a hangover is the worst possible thing you can have. Like I am so depressed when I'm hungover, to the point now that it comes to me, I'm like, it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it. getting a little bit tipsy to then be not wanting to leave your bed for 2 days, which I do anyway, even if I don't.
I wanted to quickly talk about the instrumentals, because that's actually something that I don't know anything about, whether you like produce them yourself or if you have session musicians coming in, or how that all comes together from an instrumental point of view.
So I think a lot of people don't think that I write it. I think a lot of, because I work with producers and I work with other writers, those people that have helped me have had maybe like 25 to 30% on a song, realistically. And a lot of the time that's just because I'm like, I want to give you more credit on this because you've helped my idea. I'm not going to say like I am a very intelligent musician in the sense like I know my theory, because I don't know any musical theory. Everything is by ear. Like everything is just ear and what I think sounds good, and a lot of melodies. So I had session musicians come in and play. I mean, I tracked some piano and little bits, but I like, when I'm recording an album, I like to focus on my vocal performance. With writing, I don't want to be in my own head, and I don't want a song to be just how I see it. I want someone to come in and like give me the sort of a different alternative to what I'm writing and be like, why don't you try it this way? And I'll be like, okay. And then I end up liking that even better, just because you know what it's like being in your own head. Feel that there comes a time when there's a block and you need someone to just wipe clean and show you sort of a new perspective on what you're writing.
For sure. So for those who haven't seen you live, can you describe your live shows in a couple of words?
It's so sad because I wish that we were doing this while I'd done the Set It Off tour, because I'd had a whole thing planned for that tour. So I'm just going to talk to you about what I had planned and what we'll be going.
Please do.
Yeah, so we were bringing more, I wanted to bring more of the aesthetic, like to the stage. So we had big rabbit head masks and stuff. We were gonna like walk on with them, and then me and my guitarist Miles, we wrote this like really cool intro. I've always wanted an intro.
Love intros. Yeah.
Yes, we wrote this really cool, like dark, and like it had stupidly loud subs and bass. So we designed it so that when it did play, the speakers would just be like literally like just like this, and like your throat starts shaking, like the whole idea. So yeah, we had this whole cool like whole thing planned out, and all purple lights and strobes and stuff. It was kind of linking to what new music is probably going to go a bit more like as well, like a bit more dark and creepier. So I was really looking forward to that. And then obviously us all going a bit mad on stage, and I end up with a lot of bruises on my knees after playing. So yeah.
I mean, it's just on brand. What can you say?
Yeah. I mean, it is. Bruise like a peach. You can just.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah. So besides buying your music online, obviously, what is another way, or what's the best way that fans can support you at the moment?
I've got a big cartel. I've got some merch up. I've got so much merch just sitting here now, obviously, because of the tour not happening. And I'm in quite a bit of debt with that, because obviously I haven't been able to pay them back because I've not made any money. So merch is a good like a good way, and just streaming's obviously one of the best. I think I will like tell you a secret or whatever. It's not really a secret, but I've currently, the last two weeks, I've like been making a self-isolation music video all myself. I don't know how, and I've like edited it all myself. But yeah, that should be coming out soon. And I've also done like this limited edition t-shirt to go with it. And all that money will just help me to pay my rent.
So everyone, help Lizzy pay her rent, get some merch, get streaming. You heard it. Oh, iced coffee.
I know. Because I can't get no Starbucks.
Lizzy, thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.